FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Hey, by the way, Ned is one of the leading experts on agricultural commodities. I forgot to bring this up with him during the course of the interview, so I'm tacking it on to the end. Please forgive. Again, your comments, your feedback is always appreciated. The email is kl@kerrylutz.com. So, Ned, you are one of the foremost experts in the country, in my humble opinion, on agricultural commodities. You've been following them so long. You understand the stocks. It isn't just the commodities. You understand the markets, the stocks, how they interact. So we've got this Beyond Beef meatless burgers, and people say they taste pretty good. They're loaded with palm oil, which I don't particularly think there's anything wrong with. They've been poisoning us in the movie theaters with that, on fake butter for generations. I'm still here. You're still here. But what is going to be with this stuff? I mean, are we just going to give up meat and then the cow flatulence will end, the oceans will recede, and climate change will be arrested in its tracks? Is that what's going to happen here?
Well, Kerry, vegetable-based burgers have been in the freezer department of your local grocery store for a couple of decades.
And they tasted horrible. They tasted horribly, right?
Yeah, I never bought one.
Yeah, smart burgers, they call them.
I want my hamburger to know how to move. And it's a product that hit at the right time. It's one of your millennial concepts that we're going to save the planet by eating vegetable-based hamburgers. And there is going to be a segment of people that, hey, I like them. It's probably better for me. Probably is better for the world. I don't know. And so they're going to eat them. I visited my doctor this morning. He says I'm not eating enough red meat. And so it's in fashion right now. Mm-hmm. Being a climate nut is in fashion in a large percent of the population. And so they're going to eat these things. I mean, tofu has been in our grocery stores a lot of years, but tofu has not taken over the world.
Right.
And so I think there's going to be a mass of people that eat these things, whether anybody's going to make any money out of them, ultimately. In other words, this is not a high-tech industry. The margin on slapping a bunch of soybeans together, that's not high-tech anything.
And you use the oil to make it all stick together. You know what I call Whole Foods? I call them holier-than-thou foods, right?
No, I'm going to leave that one go. But the thing is, ultimately the margins on vegetable-based burgers are going to go to, I'm not saying zero, but near zero.
Yeah.
Because there is no technology involved in it. It takes a lot more to genetically engineer a cow. And I'm telling you, China is not going to switch from eating pork belly to eating patties of soybeans.
Vegetable belly. Veggie belly.
No.
This is like the total insanity here. Like, you made a statement last time we talked. We were talking about meat, and you said in another 10, 20 years, the T-bone steak is not going to exist. It's going to be like a delicacy. Does that kind of fit in with these veggie-based meat substitutes?
Well, my view is that we're going to consume so much of the grains directly. Maybe it'll be in veggie burgers, that there won't be the grains to feed the cattle. And we've shown with the disease is a serious problem in animals, as in African swine flu. In other words, there's only, it's easy to know where pork disease is. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere right now.
Right.
And the only place it's not is the Americas. And when I say Americas, I'm talking, from
US.
Canada to Brazil.
Right.
This is going to become the island of meat production because they have the grains, the water, the infrastructure, the land, and the technology. And so the growing consumption of calories by the world population will restrict how much grains we can feed and where we can feed them.
I understand what you're saying. I totally get it.
And so,
but they'll.
But go back to the veggie burgers or another one of your millennial companies.
They'll 3D print the burgers. They'll just put cows into comas, so they'll never move, and they'll just feed them, and they'll blow up. So they'll have to use half the amount of feed for these cows because they'll never have to run in the field. And it'll be much more tender because the things will have totally atrophied their muscles, right?
Right.
I mean,
then somebody at some point, a California jury will rule that soybeans cause cancer and blow the whole thing up.
Yeah, well, everything causes cancer, right?
Right.
So, interesting stuff here. So, where do we go from here, though? Like, realistically, this isn't going to happen overnight, right? This is a process that's taking place over a period of time. And don't forget, we'll be able to 3D print a lot of food. There's going to be 3D printing hair soon, Ned. They're going to 3D print everything.
3D cow.
Yeah.
I can see that now.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, they'll do everything. So, anyways, but all these food concerns are really important because, like we were talking about, all these, 85 million people a year increased population, they all expect to eat, in the U.S. 3 meals a day, in China now 3 meals a day, in most of the world, they're expecting 3 meals a day. So something has to give. Where's the technology? Is this real technology, these veggie burgers, or is there other technology that we don't hear about that is really going to geometrically increase our food production?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Financial Survival Network is brought to you today by Orin Resources, a junior exploration company with the appetite of a major. It's hot on the trail of the next globally significant discovery, creating enormous potential upside for you, the shareholder. Orin is one of the most aggressive exploration companies pursuing high-grade, scalable gold and copper deposits and has a premier 7-project portfolio, including its 2 flagships, Committee Bay in the Arctic and Sombrero in Peru. Orin's unparalleled technical team and highly experienced management has a history of success in advancing and monetizing exploration assets. No wonder Orin's been called one of the best in the junior exploration sector. Orin trades on the TSX and the NYSE under AUG. To learn more, go to orinresources.com. That's AURYN resources.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
I don't think there is something that will give us geometric growth in food because you're still limited by land, water, and to grow something.
Mm-hmm.
And technology cannot replace that. There are biological limits on plants. Plants will move so much water and nutrients to the leaves and photosynthesize and produce whatever food, seed, or fruit they make. There are biological limits to that.
Correct.
And so you can't push the system beyond those biological limits. You can get closer and closer, but sooner or later production converges on those limits, and that's the end of your growth.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to produce, take a soybean plant, we can encourage that plant to make more soybeans, but ultimately there's a biological limit to how many beans a soybean plant can grow.
Right. So that's true, but if we look at our food distribution system, a large amount of it, even before it gets into the home, gets tossed in the garbage. right? There's such tremendous waste in that system, right? So that's an area where we can really almost double food production just by cutting the amount that goes bad and spoilage and all of that. So there's
where you see your waste, Karen, is in the produce department.
Exactly.
I don't know what the number is. I would say like a quarter.
It's huge.
Of the stuff shipped to the produce department is thrown away.
Yeah, at least 20.
The solution?
Yeah.
The solution is don't have a produce department.
Yeah, just to order it off the web and let them deliver it to you.
I don't think we're going to sell that concept, Karen.
Yeah, well, because, you got to squeeze the peaches to know, because like peaches, you squeeze them in August and they're soft, and then you smell them, say, that's a good peach. And then, you try them now and they're horrible. So without that tactile and olfactory input, you don't know if they're garbage or not, unless there's a way that they can figure out a technology that will taste it and rate it on taste, which, hey, maybe they're working on. But there's a lot of waste that takes place in the food distribution system for sure. And, so that's a place. Also in the home, I don't know how much food you throw out, but I buy food and I wind up throwing out at least a third of it from my, I don't get around to eating the salad. It goes bad. I've got a yellow pepper in my refrigerator for the past month. It needs to go into the garbage, right? You throw out a lot of stuff, and it really, it's really wasteful. And in other parts of the world, well, they'll eat anything. They'll just eat it even if it's bad. But I think that's an area, food distribution and storage, where a lot of efficiencies can be realized. But anyway, getting back to what we were saying there about the food industry and about artificial foods, they're also talking that they can 3D print kosher bacon in the lab. That would be pretty cool, huh?
I'm thinking about how that could still be kosher.
Hey, if it doesn't come from a pig.
If it is, in fact, bacon, then it can't be kosher, right?
Well, there's turkey bacon, but that's not really bacon, let's face it. But what they're saying is they can 3D print it, okay, in the lab. So it never really came from a pig, but its molecular structure will be identical to that of bacon. So you'll be able to eat it, because the pig under the Jewish religion is treif. It's unclean food for various reasons I don't want to get into, because this is a family publication, a family show after all. But you know what I'm saying? Pigs are disgusting creatures. And, so once you can 3D print that stuff, maybe it'll be like Star Trek. Remember, they're on the Enterprise for like 100 years. And if they're hungry, they just pop out a thing and it creates the food right in front of them. And, they got like a 3-course Italian meal with a bottle of the finest wine ever produced in Italy, and life is great. I mean, right? Aren't we kind of looking at stuff like that once you can 3D print stuff?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to taste good.
I don't know either, but they seem to like it on the Enterprise. I don't know. I thought that William Shatner had pretty decent taste. But something has to give here, right? I mean,
right.
We're hitting the limits of food production. I think that is getting clear, and food is so energy intensive now, right? But we do have like the satellite, the self-driving tractors and all that, and a lot of stuff dies on the vine, produce, because it doesn't get picked at exactly the right moment. It gets cold, and they don't have enough migrant workers there to pick it. So with automation in the factory, we might just see something happen, right?
That's true.
Yeah. All right, Ned. Well, hey, that's why, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, this is why you need to subscribe to the Agri-Food Value View. That is Ned's newsletter that follows all the agricultural commodities, all the important ones, the important stocks and corporations involved in food production, like our lovely leader, Archer Daniels Midland, and so, there aren't that many companies left, Ned. A couple of private ones still around. They're just not around.
No, it's right now. Take a look at Archer Daniels and Bunge, PG. That's the two of interest right now.
Yeah, and food has no place to go but up. It's kind of like gold when you get down to it, Ned. Where the ability to increase food geometrically, maybe we're hitting limits, maybe not, but the consumption is going up. There's no stopping it. A lot of the infrastructure for harvesting and storing agricultural commodities is really dated. If you just go through the Midwest, you see these grain silos. They're like 200 years old, Ned. They're going to have to be replaced. So the infrastructure companies, I don't know if there are any of them that are publicly traded for this stuff, Ned. The grain elevators manufacturers, I don't know. I haven't seen many.
Most of them are private.
Yeah, so they're private. They're like contractors, like public works contractors type thing. I don't know. Are they building new grain elevators anymore? I haven't seen a new one in a long time.
I don't know, Pierre.
All right. Well, anyways, that is something I'm going to research for next time, Ned, because I'm curious about it. So, anyways, take a look at Ned's publication. There are stocks there that you've had an incredible string of picking these ag stocks, especially when they're bought out by additional companies here, Ned. So we always appreciate you coming on. We will talk to you again real soon. Again, questions, comments on ag, food for Ned, KL@kerrylutz.com. All the other stuff. Just go to the financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Take a look. And like I said, Ned's two publications, the Value View Gold Report, the Agri-Food Value View, must reads. Ned, we'll talk to you next month. You be well.
All right. Take care, Terry.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.